relationships between one country and another.
Kunanki, a junior at the University of Pittsburgh, vanished early on the morning of March 6th, soon after she was seen walking with Reeby in a group to the beach. Investigators interviewed Reeby as a witness last week. According to a transcript obtained by NBC News, which we translated from Spanish, he said after a large wave swept them out to sea, he was able to eventually get her back to the shore. But he says he then started vomiting. Later, he says he looked around and didn't see anyone. This weekend, Reeby was back on the beach, this time surveying the area with investigators. Meanwhile, some in Reeby's Iowa hometown are now coming to his defense.
He wouldn't even hurt a fly.
An anonymous group of friends of Reeby's family, writing in part, the Rock Rapids community stands behind and supports Joshua Reeby and his family. Joshua has an unwavering devotion to his faith and genuine kindness towards others.
Reeby's attorneys have not commented on that filing, but that AG source says Reeby is expected in court tomorrow. Lester?
Jesse Kirsch, thank you. Now to President Trump's efforts to end the war in Ukraine. Ukraine agreed to a ceasefire, but Russia's President Putin has cast doubts, with Trump set to talk to him tomorrow. Keir Simmons is inside Russia.
Tonight, President Trump, just 24 hours away from a high-stakes call with Russia's President Putin.
But it's a bad situation in Russia, and it's a bad situation in Ukraine. We're going to see if we can work a peace agreement, a ceasefire and peace, and I think we'll be able to do it.
The president this weekend saying they'll talk about more than just stopping the fighting. Ukrainian territory and assets are on the table.
And I think we have a lot of it already discussed very much by both sides.
You'll ask him.
Ukraine and Russia.
You'll ask him.
We're already talking about that, dividing up certain assets.
Tonight, we're in Kursk, part of Russia taken over last year by Ukrainian forces, once seen as a Ukrainian bargaining chip, but much of it has been taken back by Russia. The fighting over Sujo in Kursk, so fierce, Russian videos show it in ruins. We drove into the Kursk region on a road teeming with Russian military to a frontline town full of soldiers. Many locals, hardened by years of war, are suspicious of President Trump, who now appears on the front page of newspapers here. Peace should be done the Russian way, not the US way, he says. There'll be a ceasefire, this woman says, when we win. Meanwhile, Ukraine's President Zelensky, who has already accepted President Trump's ceasefire proposal, tonight is accusing Putin of dragging out the war, saying pressure is needed on Russia and that Ukraine needs long-term security. Today here in Kursk, we saw evidence of battles, Russian trucks carrying bodies, and US Bradley fighting vehicles seized from the Ukrainians. Now comes the bitter negotiations. Lester?
Keir Simmons near the front lines tonight. Thank you. In 60 seconds, the ripple effect from government cuts, how school lunches could be impacted by changes at the Department of Agriculture. That's next.